Baba says that one cannot become pure without Baba's Shrimat. And purity is the first virtue. If there is no purity, there can never be any virtue. This is a secret that Baba has told us. Because you see, in the world, people say, I want peace, I want happiness, but purity is the mother of peace and happiness. Baba says, Pavitrata Sukh Shanti ki janani hai. If the mother is not there, then how can you have the two children? So Baba says that I am the one who comes and tells you the importance of purity. Purity is the first virtue. Purity is the power of the soul. Purity is the biggest treasure. So it is Baba who comes and tells us what purity is, what the importance of purity is. And I remember when I came to Gyan, in 1 week, I had heard this word purity so many times, and before Gyan, I had never heard this word. Maybe sometime once or twice in the lifetime somebody would have mentioned it, but I had never heard this word. And because we don't use this word, right? Nobody talks about purity in the world. So when I came to Gyan, so 1 week it was constantly this word purity, purity, purity. And then one day I asked the sister, what is this purity you're talking about? I don't understand that. I understand peace, I understand happiness. I don't understand this purity that you're talking about. So then she gave me a very interesting answer. She said, I cannot define it, and it's very difficult to define, but I am becoming pure, and I can feel the power and the experience of becoming pure. And slowly, gradually, you will also understand that's one of the most difficult concepts to put in words, but you can feel how it feels to be pure. So I said, okay. So I went with that, and you see, as you proceed on the journey, so you understand that with Baba's Shrimat you become pure. Now, let us begin with, this fact that the world also understands the importance of purity. And because of that, there is a whole religion called the Sannyas Marg, the path of renunciation, which has been created because they understood that purity is important, and they didn't know how to become pure. So they devised their own method. They left the house and they stayed in the jungle, and then they thought that, this is the way to be pure. And if you look at it deeply, then in this process, the underlying belief system is that somebody else is responsible for your impurity. So in the Sannyas Marg, it was usually considered that the woman is the one responsible for the man's impurity. And if you wanted to be pure, then you leave the woman, you leave the house, because if there are relationships, if there is a woman in the life, the wife, then you cannot become pure. And that's why sannyas dharam is predominantly a religion which is founded and taken forward by males. And in that there is a subtle blame that, and they also say nari nark ka dwar hai, which means that the woman is the way to hell. And then they leave the woman, the house, and then they try to go to the jungle and become pure. But Baba says the sannyasis, they will also take birth, take rebirth in this old world itself. And the sign of purity is when you become pure, you will not live in this impure world. But the sannyasis don't take birth in heaven next time, but a sannyasi who takes birth, takes sannyas, and then leaves the body, that sannyasi will also come and take birth to a householder again in the same Kali Yuga. And Baba tells us that, there are stories of sannyasis where you find that somebody who comes to the clan of, sannyasis have clans, and when they join, a young sannyasi joins, then there'll be a senior who will be able to even find out that this person is that one sannyasi who had left the body some time back. And in that way, they also say that those who left the body in sannyas, they come back to become a sannyasi. Now, why does this happen? Because the law says if you are pure, then you will be free from that karmic cycle. And you will not end up with the same people and same situation again. If you become pure, if you have changed, then your circumstances would change. But the sannyasi keeps revolving cyclically in that same path. And over again, they are born in a family, they again take sannyas, again they leave the body, again they are born in a grihast, and then again they take sannyas. So this is the cycle that takes place. And Baba gives us the reason for that. And Baba says that although, they leave the house, but what they do is they don't earn their own money or cook their own food. What they do is they beg alms from grihasthis, from those who are in household. And when they beg for alms, then you see they are taking the resources from, and especially food, and food creates great karmic account, because when you eat food from somebody, then it creates a karmic account with that person. And if you are not compensating for that food, so and of course the vibrations will affect you, but also if you are taking it free, then the karmic account is also created. So food is a source of great karmic account. So this is something that most people don't understand. And you see in India we say, हमने आपका नमक खाया है. Have you heard that? So they say, we have had your salt. So, and then they say that if I have had salt from you, then I am enslaved to you. And these are simple methods of telling how when you eat from somebody, then that creates a very deep karmic account. So it creates a debt which you have to pay back. And Baba tells us that first thing is you are becoming pure, you are leaving the vice of lust at least, but you are eating food from those who engage in lust. So then the vibrations of lust become your vibrations. And then you are taking food from somebody, so that creates a karmic account also. So because of this, this karma ki gati, because of this karmic exchange, they come and take birth with a grihast again. And this is why Baba says that nobody can actually free you from this vicious cycle of impurity until Baba comes. And you see, Baba tells us that when I come, I teach you that first thing that you have to understand about purity is you need power for purity. You need knowledge for purity. Without knowledge, without power, you cannot become pure. You cannot become pure by running away from someone or something. Yes, so do you understand that you are where you are because of a reason? Yes, you are where you are because of a reason, because there is a karmic account which you have to settle there, and the basis of birth is karmic settlement. So from the copper age, when we take birth, we don't take birth because of any other reason, but just to settle the karmic account that we created in the last birth. And when I am in a certain place with certain people, with certain relationships, that means I have a karmic account with them. And the law of karma says, if you try to run away from your karma, then what happens? It runs after you. It doesn't leave you. So you cannot run away from your karma. What you can do is settle it. And you see, Baba tells us this one thing, that the method that sannyasis adopt, running away from home, that's not the method through which you can settle karmic accounts. So you have to live where you're living, but then you have to use the power of knowledge and yoga enough so that you become detached. You become emotionally detached. And you have to then, those feelings of, those emotions change into pure feelings of love, altruistic feelings of love. They are not, when there is attachment, then there is give and take of sorrow. Yes, so when somebody you are attached to is in sorrow, then what do? You take sorrow. And when they are happy without you, you give sorrow. So you don't want them to be sorrowful, and then you don't want them to be happy without you also. So you see that's the interesting thing. So you give sorrow, you take sorrow, and then because you are sorrowful and then you are attached, so obviously you give what you have. So this is what happens. This is a two-way energy exchange that happens in relationships of attachment. And because of that, it becomes a very messed up thing, And this enmeshment in relationships, these days psychology says it's codependence. So, codependent relationships are created like that. And these are the deepest karmic accounts. And you cannot just, run away from them and finish it. That's not how it works. So, Baba says that you need the power of knowledge, you need the power of yoga in order to come to a place where you're with them, but you're not attached, you're detached and loving. So Baba says that you're there, you're still with them, But then it's not a two-way energy exchange. It's just one way. You're taking from Baba and giving love to them. You don't soak in their sorrow. You don't get disturbed by their actions. You don't take the pain that they are facing, or you don't get irritated by their behavior, or these emotions stop. So then Baba tells us, I am the only one who can bring you to that place of purity. And then you see, purity is not just changing from attachment to detached and loving, but purity is also about, cleansing yourself and having a bigger heart. And purity is power. So, just like purity changes how you relate to other people, purity also changes how your mind works, how your buddhi works. And you see, when you're impure, your buddhi will always be stuck at the limitations, the shortcomings, the bad in something, the wrong in something, because that's the aspect of an impure buddhi. But when the buddhi is pure, then it will be able to see the good in everyone and everything. It will be able to focus on what's good about everyone and everything. And have you seen that, our tastes also change when we become pure. So when you are impure, then even your cravings of, your sense of entertainment or your craving for food, that's towards all that is rajasic and tamasic. But as you become pure, you will start liking that which is pure. And I had a friend in college, and she used to tell me this thing very often. She used to tell me, अच्छी चीज़ किसको अच्छी लगती है? So she used to tell me that whatever is good, you never like it. So then, I also believed that at that time, because I was in that same space. So I also said, yes, that's true. But then as I came on this path, I started liking good things. And then I once called her after many years, and we were having a talk. And then I told her, you know what? When you become good, you like the good things, I guess. So then she said, I don't know, I can't understand it because I'm still not good. So I said, then you try, your taste will change. So she said, okay, I'll try. And then she took the course. So now you see that when you become pure, then your taste, your preferences, your likes, your focus, it changes, because all that is an aspect of your buddhi. And then you see your mind also. When you're impure, then your mind will always find it hard to let go of the thoughts that cause you sorrow. But when you're pure, it will be very easy to let go of that which causes you sorrow and accept and think about that which gives you happiness. And it will be very easy to turn your mind and buddhi to Baba. So these are aspects of purity. And then you see, when you become pure, you have such a big heart. And then you think about universal well-being. You think about seva. You're not self-centered, because one of the very big traits of purity is impurity is selfishness. Impurity makes you very selfish, self-centered. But when you're pure, you have a big heart. And I remember there was this one brother, and I saw that he never hesitated in doing anything for anybody. And even when it cost him something, he never hesitated from doing something that really mattered to somebody. and especially on their path of spiritual progress. And I remember there was a Kumar and he didn't have a place to stay. And this brother was living in a single room, and he had a very tiny place himself, but he slept on the floor, and then he brought that Kumar and made him stay with him. And then he said, you know what, Didi, if I let him go today, then he will not be able to progress on the path of Gyan. And I want him to stay, and he's having a good Brahmin life here, so I want him to do that. And then, once he told me a very beautiful line. He told me, I didn't bring anything with myself. I will not take anything with myself. So why not distribute what you have? So, and that is, although, this is something that we all know, but when you hear it from somebody who really imbibes it, it makes a difference. And Baba says that purity makes you such large-hearted. And Baba says that when you are pure, you are the master of heaven. And that is an aspect of purity. And Baba says you become pure through Shrimat. And what is Shrimat? So first thing, Shrimat is about the knowledge that Baba gives us. So in order to become pure, you have to understand, realize, and deeply know that you are pure. You the soul, I the soul, I'm not the body, I'm not what I have, I'm not what I do, I'm not the people around me, I'm not the act I do, I'm not the relationships that I'm so attached to. I'm just a tiny point of light. And when you sit on that seat behind the eyes and be a detached observer, then you start getting not affected by everything and think clearly in every situation. So just think about a driver. A driver's life is with the car. He's defined by the car. He's the driver. But let's say he's very attached to the car. Can he drive it? If he's very attached to the car, then, the car has to be driven on the street. And the street is a rough and busy place. And how can you take something that you love so much out on the street if you love it too much? If you are very attached to it, you cannot take it to the street and drive. And Baba says similarly, you are a soul and you have to live in this world. And in this world, the body, the relationships, the work, everything has to be done. But if you're too attached, then it will harm your functionality. It will hamper your efficiency. So Baba tells us that first thing that we have to understand is, I am a soul and I am separate from all of this. And when you practice enough that I am sitting on this seat behind the eyes in an absolutely detached and loving state and doing everything through the body, but not getting affected by the result or the actions that I do. Or I take care of the relationships, but I am not attached to them. When you practice that, then you can become pure. So first thing for purity is soul consciousness. And then the most important aspect of purity is having yoga with Baba. Because you see, when you are empty, then obviously you will soak the vibrations of whatever you are, into. If you are in a setting and you are empty, then you will naturally absorb the vibrations of that setting. Because the law of energy is, it will flow from a full place to an empty place. But if you're full, then you can radiate your vibrations to others. And you cannot just, mechanically, if you just intellectually understand that I am a soul and I am separate from everything, you cannot get separate, because in order to be separate, you have to be full. When the soul is full, then it is the master. If it is empty, then it is needy. And when you're needy, then the body, the relationships, the work that you do is a source of happiness and peace to you. And when it is your source, how can you detach from your source? And that's why, we can only detach from something that gives us sorrow, but we cannot detach from something that gives us happiness. Yes, when people come to the center, then we ask them to apply Gyan, and they apply it to the mother-in-law, but they don't apply it to the husband. Because the husband is, giving love, giving happiness, and then you are in need. So how can you detach from, how can the hungry detach from food? So you can only detach from food when you're full. So Baba says that the most important aspect of purity is connecting with the real and imperishable source. So when you have yoga with Baba, and in that yoga you're filling your heart with Baba's love, peace, joy, power, and having that fulfillment of all relationships from Baba, then you can be here and be detached and loving. And Baba says, I teach you unlimited renunciation. So you are also sannyasis, but you are unlimited sannyasis. So you don't run away from anything. You be with everything and be detached from everything. But in order to be that, you need knowledge and yoga power. And when you have this knowledge and yoga power, then only you can be in a state of purity. And Baba tells us that when we are pure, as we tune into Baba, fill ourselves with energy, our battery starts charging. And then we become, we slowly become the master, and everything becomes the recipient. And then we shift to that world where every soul and the elements of nature, they are happy to serve you, because you are not needy, you are actually the master. So Baba says this is how you make your battery full. And today Baba also tells that whatever sins we have committed in our past births, in past 63 births, they stay with us in the form of sanskars. And you see that according to the drama, Satyug has to change to Treta Yuga, Treta Yuga has to change to Dwapar Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga has to change to Kali Yuga. And that is according to the drama. But why do we suffer? Do we suffer because of the situation, or do we suffer because of the sanskar that we have? Kali Yuga is Kali Yuga, okay. But are we just suffering because it is Kali Yuga, or are we suffering because of the sanskars we have created? So let me put this question this way. Are you suffering because somebody is talking nasty to you? Or are you suffering because you're listening to that one very intently? Yes. So we are not suffering because of the words that are said. We are suffering because we my sanskar is to focus on those words. And we hear Baba's Murli every day, and Baba gives us so many blessings. Baba gives us so much appreciation in the Murli, gives us so much respect in the Murli. And then what do? We forget that Murli. And we remember what pinching or insulting words somebody spoke to me. Why? Because that's my sanskar. It's said the pig will always love to play in the dirt. So even if you give it fresh water, it goes and chooses the dirt. That's the sanskar. So Baba says that when you commit sin after sin after sin, the thing that happens is it creates sinful sanskars in you. And those sanskars make you suffer deeply. Have you seen little children? They have a different world. They are living in the same world. Yesterday I was seeing in the park, little children, 4 years of age, 5 years of age. Their teacher brought them to the park and they were dancing in joy and, rolling in mud, and they were so happy. And here there were adults there itself going for rounds, and they were seeing so much pollution in Delhi and so much this in Delhi. And these children, they don't know any pollution, they don't know anything. They were so happy. And I was just thinking, you choose your world, don't you? You choose your world according to who you are. And your mind space decides, your experience of life. And it's all decided by your sanskar. So Baba tells us that. And then Baba also says that when your sanskar is impure, then you create an impure world. So Baba says that you have to understand that the sanskar is the problem. And the sanskar is an aspect of the sin that I have committed. So what do I do with the sin? With the power of knowledge and yoga, I burn those sins. And the only way to change your sanskars is remember Baba. And when you remember Baba, your sanskars change, because you're changing your world, right? You're changing your sense of who you belong to. You're keeping company with Baba. Then slowly, gradually, that changes your sanskar. And when that changes, then the world also changes. Now there's a question. I have usually done things with purity but ended up with my trust being broken. Now I fear trusting anyone. So now you see, when we are not in Gyan, we don't understand that the way in which we understand trust in the world is very impure. Because what is trust? First, trust yourself. If you don't trust yourself and you trust somebody else, then that trust will definitely be broken. So what do we do in the world? I invest all my trust in another person. I don't trust myself that even if the other person breaks my trust, I'll be okay. So when you trust somebody, the rule is trust 95%. So have trust, keep trust, but then know that there are 5% chances that it can be broken. So trust, but trust yourself first, that even if that trust is broken, I'll be fine with Baba. And then, even when the trust is broken, you are able to trust again. Because it's not a good idea to say that you lost your quality because of your quality. No. You never lose a quality because of a quality. So when you trust yourself, when you trust Baba first and then trust everyone, it's a very good thing to trust everyone, but then don't be heartbroken if somebody doesn't live up to your expectations. Because still you are you and Baba is with you and everything is fine. Yes, okay, Om Shanti.